In this video, we're going to cover our second workflow, our exploratory data analysis. For this project, we covered our feature engineering and data preparation before our exploratory data analysis. This is because one of the important steps in our data preparation was creating the target variable, which needed to be extracted from the dataset before it can be used. Now we can explore this target data and the rest of the dataset in our exploratory data analysis. The goal of this workflow is to get a better understanding of our data and what variables affect our target variable. Here we are using the SQL nodes to filter our data in various ways, and then we're using the graphing nodes to then create visualizations from that filtered data. Now let's take a look at some of the outputs of this workflow. The first graph that we created was the distribution of excess usage by employee count. This splits each of the companies by their employee count into various bins, and then it counts the number of excess usage, either ones or zeros, in the remaining data set. We can see that while the lower employee count companies have more absolute excess usage, we can see that the high employee count companies actually have less usage by a percentage of the total. Here we have the same chart, but instead on its own, rather than using the graph subplots node. One of the other graphs that we created was the distribution of excess usage by month. We can see that July and March have the highest sums of excess usage. This may make sense depending on the production environment, where warmer months can affect the temperature and the water loss and leakage. Here we have the distribution of the counts of excess usage by the main pipe length. We can see that while shorter pipe lengths generally lead to more excess usage, we have an interesting spike around the 3,490 mark. This is actually the highest spike that we have. However, its neighbors at 2,610 and 3,780 are far lower than even the average. This is an interesting point and may need to be explored in the future. Here we have our distribution of excess usage by main pipe length. However, this time we have split up the count of yeses and nos. Here we have normalized the data so that instead we are looking at the percentage of excess usage by main pipe length. Now we can see that the same spike that we saw earlier does not exist anymore, and instead the excess usage looks relatively even across the pipe lengths. Here we have the distribution by daily abstraction. The daily abstraction here, as we can see, spikes around 60 and 140. These are both important values that we should keep in mind in the future. Thank you for listening.